Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce you to today's guest, Tracey Battle. Tracey is a best-selling author of Silver Lining Storybook. She's a health and wellness coach and a new sneakers executive. She had to create a new life after loss and health issues. Using her own life experiences, she now helps women find their voice among the voices, as she has done. Her new programs will empower you to become the best you can be. Healthy change is your choice. Welcome, Tracey.
Thank you very much, Tammy. It's so exciting to be here with you today.
I'm really interested in learning more about you. You say you help people or women who have lost their voices find their voices among the voices. Can you tell me more about who you help?
Yes, I was, when I say lost their voices, I talk about, that means a woman who has, and not just a woman, but anybody, but for my purposes, a woman who has gone through so many things in her life that she stopped listening to herself and started listening to others and started doing things that may not be quite right for her. But she keeps going along and moving through life, listening to what other people think and putting herself down and her choices and her decisions down that may really help lead her on in a different path that may be better for her.
So she's somebody who's like what, burned out, stressed out, maybe a little depressed?
Yes, you've become burnt out, stressed out, all the adjectives that go along with that. And you don't realize it until, like in my case, I didn't realize how burnt out, stressed out, and depressed I was until I got laid off. And I was so busy doing everything. I was so busy going to work, raising my son, going through the daily things of life that when you're forced to stop and you come down from that, you don't realize what's been going on to yourself and your body and your mind through that whole time. And that's what happened to me. I had no idea how really, really stressed and burnt out I was until I got laid off. And there's a lot of women out there who they may not get laid off or, but there's some incident or something that happens to them where they just, oh, my God, I had no idea all this was going on with me, whether it be, you get sick and you in getting well, you may be able to stop for a second and you're like, I really needed that. Sometimes you need to get sick to get better.
Wow. So can you talk about some of the signs and symptoms of stress and being burned out?
Some of the symptoms and signs that I found with me was I was so completely, you get tired. You're so tired, but you still keep on moving. Little things bother you. Little things like that you don't think about normally that you can just brush off, and some little thing will happen, and the next thing you know, you get so tense about it that, your whole body shakes. I've gone through just little things where my whole body starts shaking, and I'm like, oh, my God, what's happening to me? Or there have been times when, say, a letter came in the mail or a bill came in the mail, and you just bust out crying for no reason, and then you're sitting there saying, why am I crying about this? It's just a bill, or just the littlest things that you don't even realize. Somebody will say something to you, And the next thing you know, you either get angry at the snap of a finger or you bust out crying. Those are signs of, stress, being depressed. Depression, when I went through my serious case of depression, I didn't want to do anything. I kept the blinds closed. Well, now, mind you, I'm raising my son at the time. So I'm trying to not act like I'm depressed because I don't want him to see that, but I'm depressed. So when he goes out or he goes to school, the blinds are closed. I'm still in my pajamas. The phone rings. I look at it. I don't pick it up. It's the little things that you don't even think about. Like you just get up, and now what I do is, first thing I do when I get up, open the blinds. Let the light come in. The light will shine. When the light shines on you, it wakes you up. It opens you up. Even if you're depressed, it does that. But if you let the depression overtake that, then with the blinds closed, you stay in that state. The phone rings. You don't talk to nobody. You stay in that state of depression. You're constantly in that state of depression. And I'm the type of person that I say, and I found that there's a lot of other women that say the same thing. Don't tell me about somebody else going through what I'm going through, because that's not helping me. And when you get to that point, when you get so low that you become depressed and bitter, when you go through a whole bunch of things, like it just seems like one right after the other, things are going on and nothing's going right for you. Or when you get to this state where you don't want good things to happen because the low is so low that it's so hard to get back up that you don't even want to go through the good times because the bad times are that much worse. That's when you know you really need to go get help.
Wow. That it's interesting because I recognize some of those symptoms in myself and also in my mother. She used to spend the whole day with the drapes closed and not ever get out of bed. So I can really see that. So tell me, what are some of the things that happen when you're dealing with this physically to your body? You said that you got laid off, and then you also had some major health problems. Can you talk a little bit about what you experienced?
When I got laid off, I became bitter. And I became bitter because I felt like not only did I get laid off, but my son got laid off. And so then I had to fight to first of all, I had to fight to not show him that. But then, you go through looking for a job. And, at the time that I was laid off, that was the beginning of the, no more jobs, and unemployment ran out, and it was just terrible. Now, what I didn't know that was going on in my body was that, and I've always been a calm person. My pressure was always at a certain, my pressure was always under what the norm should be. Slowly, my pressure started going up. I didn't know it. My cholesterol started going up. I didn't know. I knew it, but I was taking the medicine, and then what happens to everybody when you get laid off, you lose your medical. So I stopped taking the medicine, and then my blood pressure started going up. My cholesterol started going up. I started having more headaches. And in the depression, as women, sometimes what we do is we eat. So then I started eating all the wrong things. And this is coming from a person who always thought she ate the right thing. Like if something didn't taste good to me, I stopped eating it. So I started eating more ice cream, candy, things like that. I'm not really a bread eater. I started eating a lot of sandwiches and, things like that. And I started to gain weight. And then when you gain weight, you get depressed because you're heavy. You can't fit into the clothes that you fit before. So then what do? You start eating more. You feel bad. You either starve yourself or you eat more because you're depressed. So one thing leads to another. So I started having more headaches. I was exercising, but then I stopped doing my exercising because my body was starting to shut down. And when I say shut down, I started drooping. Like my whole posture was different because I was no longer able to do what I was doing before. And even though I was trying to do certain things, like you get a job here or you get a job there, and then it's not what you were doing before. You're not making what you made before, and then you get even more depressed or even more bitter or even more, upset about things. And you start losing hope. Like, well, is this all that's going to be for me? Like, I don't understand this. Like, what did I do? And you start questioning yourself. Is it me? What did I do? I must have done something to make all this happen. But, of course, you didn't. But in your mind, that's what you tell yourself. And then all the messages that are out there, if you don't know how to decipher them, they can do that much more damage to you if you're already damaged. So when you see commercials with these beautiful girls standing up against these cars or, whatever they're doing, then, well, I guess I'm supposed to look like that. Well, let me see what I can do. Well, I can't possibly do that. So then you automatically start beating yourself up. And once you start beating yourself up, it just trickles down after that.
So with your experience of getting laid off and falling into this deep depression and having all these health issues that obviously made your life crash, you've since come back up because you said you lost your job in 2006 or 2007?
Yes, I lost my job at the end of 2005.
Oh, okay. So, that was the beginning of the big economic downturn that we've all survived, thank goodness. So now you are doing the health coaching, and you're a best-selling author, and you're also a new sneaker exec. Tell me more about how your life got turned around for the better and how you're now helping people.
Well, how I got turned around was I had to get to my deepest, darkest point. And that was when my son, he was having issues, and we got him to college. I got him to college, and we had some issues with the college, which caused me so much stress. You cannot understand how much stress that was on me, because I did not want that to happen to my son. I wanted him to go to school and live his own life. So when I was in a car accident, even though I did try to work after that, it just became apparent that I couldn't. So what happened, he was having issues in school with the money part. So what he did was he ended up having to come out of school. He ended up getting 3 jobs to help me. And the stress of that happening to him and me trying to help him, but I couldn't help him, that caused me to have a heart attack. So, and on top of that, I was trying to rehab from the car accident. So when you go to the emergency room thinking of from one thing, and the doctor comes back and tells you, oh, you're having a heart attack right now, we're getting a room ready for you upstairs. And I'm looking at this man like, you talking to me? And I look over at my son, and he looks at me, and we're both in shock. So when I got upstairs to the room, and I told him to go home because there's nothing you can do, and I don't want him waiting. We've been there since 4 a.m. anyway. And this was around, I'm thinking like 7 or 8. And when I got to the room, upstairs to the room, I said, you know what? I need to take inventory of my life and what's been going on. So as I laid there in the bed, I just went through everything that I had gone through. And I said, all this is stress. This is 100% stress. So what I did was, once and I'm still, more or less recovering from the heart attack, even though I'm basically recovered, but I go to the doctor. And I just decided that I'm going to, I took a chance. I went to school for health coaching. I took a chance. I did that. I learned a lot. I started putting a lot of the things I learned into practice. My pressure started coming down. My cholesterol started coming down. The breathing techniques that I learned and the meditation that I learned started to heal me from the inside out. And that my emotions that I had gone through that could make my pressure go up in 2 seconds flat, all that started to slowly go away. I met a publisher because of going to the school and knowing the meeting some of the other students, and told her my story, and it was just like, well, let's put it in the book. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, it's just from sometimes, like I said, you have to get sick to get better. And it's a shame in some aspects that we have to do that. But I just have been, it almost seems like as soon as good things started happening, it just kept started happening. And I was approached about the sneaker company, and I just said, oh, I love that idea. Let me, I brought my my thoughts to the company, and things have just been, everything has taken an upturn. This is the best thing that could have happened to me. And and I just thought that, I've talked to other women, and I told them my story, and they're just like, oh, really? Or they read the book, and they're like, you know what? Your story has helped me understand, what I've been going through or what I'm going through, or I didn't know what I was going through. After reading your story, now I know. So this has just been a life-altering thing that has happened. And I couldn't do all this without trying to help somebody else, because that's what it's about. It's about helping others.
So can you tell me more about the sneaker company and what that is, and then tell me also more about your health and wellness coaching programs?
Sure. The sneaker company is called Soul Makers. And what Soul Makers does is we are a custom branded shoe company. And what we do is for schools that have uniforms, most kids, when they get the uniforms, they're usually told to get a black shoe, any shoe. And what we do is the shoe, our shoe will match or can match the uniform. You pick the color, you pick the symbol of what you want on the shoe, and it will match the uniform to what you want. We have a give back program that helps the school with activities where if you buy a shoe, the company will give back $5 to the school. So that's money in the school's pocket. Nike or these other shoe companies are not giving back money. But we will give back to the school. We become a partner with the school, and we're not just a shoe vendor, we're a partner. My program in my company, Pure Changes and Choices, I want that I'm retailoring everything so that that for women, so we can come together as a group, because I feel that a lot of times we women, we get caught up in media and hype, and we don't support each other as we should. So what I'm doing is I want to retailer everything, and what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about what's going on. We're going to hit everything. A, B, C. We're going to start from wherever you are. I'm not going to move you over here, move you over there. We're going to start from where you are. If you've been feeling funny, let's do something about that. So we're going to do we're going to get into meditation and breathing techniques, which help. We're going to slowly see what you're eating, see how we can change that. We're going to do, we're going to get into what exercise is good for you. What do you like to do? What do you want to do? Do you want to run? Do you want to walk? Do you like exercise? Do you not like exercise? There's a lot of things you can do to just stay active and keep moving. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to do, what everybody else is doing. Everything is going to be tailored to you, but in a community setting where you can talk to somebody else if you want to. Let's do this. Let's try this. Let's do this. And that's my plan with my new programs coming in the new year. I want to make it more community friendly. So if you want specialized help, you can. Single help. I want to do groups, small groups of women where we can talk about things. We can find out what's going on. My thing will be I don't like the word diet. So what we're going to do is lifestyle changes. And that's what all this is a lifestyle change. If you want big changes, we can do big changes. If you want to do small changes, we'll do small changes. If you like what's going on, we can move forward. If you don't really like it, then we can stay right where you are. It's about what you want. And
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask you a little bit about why you think some people get stuck in making lifestyle changes. Because health coaching is something that we all could use. We all need that support system. But often, we get stuck and it's like New Year's resolutions. We stick with it for a couple weeks and then we don't do it anymore. Why do you think that is?
I think that's because we've gotten used to that, and that we want everything to happen right now. So if I go on this diet today and I don't lose weight right away, it didn't work. So I'll just go back to what I was doing, even though that didn't work, but it's easier. And I think most people, they want change, but because of the society, if you look on the internet or any of the TV shows, they all do the same thing. It's a yearly thing. What are your New Year's resolutions? How do I stay on this? First they do the New Year's resolutions. Then after the New Year, then they have the little shows where, how do I stay on this? How do I do that? When you start something and it doesn't work right away, that doesn't mean it's not working. If it took you 30 years to get to where you are, why do you think it's going to take you a week to get rid of all that? And it's just a mindset that we have to get out of. And I think it is possible, but it's steps. And then we have a tendency to beat ourselves up when we make a mistake, or when we, like, I'm on this diet. I stopped because, or I cheated because my son made a cookie and I ate the cookie. So now I have to go off the diet. Well, why? Just because you did one thing doesn't mean that you have to give up. All that means is, well, instead of saying, let's start all over again, we automatically say, I give up. I don't do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to give up. If you make a mistake, well, actually, it's not even a mistake. If you just go off for a minute, okay, well, we'll come back to it the next day or the next week. Or it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a thing. But we've made it big. We've made failure big.
That's really interesting when you say that about we've made failure big and we forget about all of our little successes, that if we just kept doing them every day, just like what you said about I ate a cookie. Well, yeah, that one cookie, whatever, it's a couple hundred calories, and so maybe you just don't eat cookies for a couple days and that cookie will be gone, and guess what? The scale will go down if you're still eating all the rest of the foods that you're supposed to be eating. And I think you're absolutely right. We put so much pressure on ourselves and we try to force ourselves to eat things we don't even like, and when we could have eaten something we really liked and enjoyed it and probably been better off because we didn't feel deprived. So tell me more about maybe why you think that people beat themselves up so much, because we do seem to live in a I want it now world, especially with social media. And obviously, like what you said, if it took you 30 years to get to where you are, it's probably not going to change in 7 days, especially if you've been overeating your entire life, or if you're stressed out. Exercise, you have to work your way up to any type of exercise, and see a doctor to make sure that everything is okay so you can do those physical activities. You've mentioned before that there's an idea of wisdom that's been you need to be rich to be healthy and happy. What do you think about that? What's wrong with that picture?
Why do we have the picture is cracked? Because okay, so I don't. Let me change that. The picture is cracked. Now, nowadays you see people go on these shows where I'm just going to say the singing shows where you sing and you become, you get voted and you become a star, quote unquote. What they look like when they got started is totally different after the makeup comes, the dietitian comes, the trainer comes, and then they start looking like $1 million. Who said that you have to have all that to look like $1 million or to be healthy? And that has been the model that we've all gone on for some time. It's like, well, look how he started. He looked a hot mess. But then you see what happens when you get that money. You get that money and you can do A, B, C, and D. No. But we've been conditioned to believe that. So if I start eating the right things, or if I change my mindset, I think it all starts with the mind. I found that out after I stressed myself into a heart attack. Let's change the mind. Let's say, okay, I love me. I may be 5 or 10 pounds overweight. I'll get it off. I may not be eating the right thing. I'll start eating the right thing. If they don't taste good, let me find a way to make it taste good so that I'll eat it every day or every other day or whatever. Let's start working on ourselves without having to have all this money. You can eat right. You can exercise. You can take care of yourself, and it doesn't cost a dime. When I was rehabbing from my corporal tunnel that I found out I have, I'm sitting there waiting for my turn with the therapist, and I'm listening to this man tell me that, well, the doctor told me to do so and so, so they're the doctor. I'm just going to do what they tell me to do, even though it hurts or I can't do this or I can't. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's your body. You know what you're going through. You know how it feels, but you're going to listen to somebody else. There's a disconnect there somewhere, and I don't get that. When I was going through all I was going through with my shoulder and my neck from my injury, I had these doctors telling me one thing, and I'm telling them something else. When you're not believed about your pain or whatever you're going through, that is a form of stress that works on your body also. So I'm saying all this to say that we can do these things ourselves. Yes, some things cost more money than we have, but we can do things ourselves that will make us feel better, look better, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. You just have to take the time and do the research, and you can find those things. And if you get a health coach, they can help you find those things, and you will feel better. You will look better. You will lose the weight. You can be whatever model or actress you want to be without having to spend the money. And I think that conditioning, we have to change that conditioning to make people realize that it's your body, it's your health. I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor, but what I'm saying is that listen to yourself, listen to your body. It talks to you. It tells you what it wants, what it needs, what's going on. But we haven't been listening. I started listening, and I've changed. My life has changed quite a bit. And I don't have a lot of money, trust me.
Wow. So listen to your body, trust your gut. And of course, when a doctor tells you something, they're coming from an educated point of view, but sometimes a doctor may not know the entire picture about what's going on with you. And obviously, you have to be able to do whatever they're telling you to do. And sometimes they don't know all the details that make it so it might be hard for you to follow their advice. So, Tracey, before I let you go, is there anything else that you think is important for our listeners to know?
I think that the best thing for the listeners to realize is that when you're young, we have all this energy, and we think that we're going to last forever. And it would be great to think that, but we're not. And the thing about it is that you can still have that energy all through your life. We don't have to get to a certain age and think that we're supposed to lose our energy. We're supposed to do. We can still have energy. We can have healthy, vibrant lives. So that's what we want. And it can be done. And I think that's the most important thing. And we need support. It's something that I think is really, really lacking nowadays. You really need support, whether it be from a family member, a friend, a coach, somebody. You need support. It does help.
Well, Tracey, I really thank you so much for all your information, because I'm thinking so many people are just on that never-ending treadmill of trying to be all things and do all things, take care of other people. And often in that, we forget about taking care of the most important person that we have, and that's us, because if we don't take care of us, then we can't take care of anybody else at the same time. So Tracey, thank you so much for sharing your story and such wonderful insight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure talking with you and being on your show today.
And before I forget, tell me where we can find out more about you and your services.
Right now, you can get me on Twitter. I'm Miss T. Also at Pula1212. I'm also on Pinterest, and Pinterest is my Pure Changes and Choices on Pinterest. And I'll be coming. My website will be coming out soon. I'm doing changes right now, and that's also Pure Changes and Choices. And I'm also on Facebook, but that's my personal page, and that's just Tracey Battle.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again, Tracey. This is Tammy Patzer. Go make it a great day.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.